At age 14, I was molested by a neighbor who was about my father's age, 3 different times. And that was just a trajectory. I was going into puberty right at this time, and I was, trying to figure out what boys were and having boyfriends. Well, that violation just set me on this path of having sexual relationships over and over, and I didn't know why. And God showed me later in my healing that you were doing that so that you would be in control of what was going on. I was assertive sexually without knowing why I was doing it. Nobody even asked me to do those things, but I was doing them so that way I'm in control and you can't violate me. But what it did was cause me to do more and more things I should have never done. I found pornography in my home, and at that time it was on paper. But that was a violation to my mind. I should have never seen those things. And now it's absolutely off the charts with what you see in your mind. And you can't get it out unless the Lord wipes it out. It's very difficult to get those images out of your mind. So that is just, a thing that went on in my household. I became very sexually active. At 19, I had an abortion, which is absolutely probably the most shameful thing I've ever carried. I could tell you about the sexual abuse, about all of my other things, but I could not speak about this abortion for years because there's so much shame with it. And I was in healing ministry for a long time before I ever mentioned it because I didn't realize there was that much shame. The way we know the level of shame is what we can't talk about, what we can't tell anybody. And James chapter 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. If there's a thing that you've never told anybody, I guarantee it's affecting your adult life. You might think it's not, but to be healed, you need to confess to somebody. And I'm not saying just share with anybody in the world. Pray about who to share that to. Pray about who you need to tell it to. Some people aren't able to handle that or keep confidence, but and sometimes I just say, you got to pay somebody to listen to you. Just go find a counselor and pay them. Because 80% of my healing was just saying it. And then it's in the light. The enemy can't continue to keep doing that. And the fear, which is fear less about hiding that thing. And it could be something that keeps coming to your mind, but it's a small thing that happened in nursery school. Get it out, because the enemy uses it in your adult life and wherever, especially in sexual abuse. There's a lot of trauma and shame, and it's hard to talk about. And tonight, I believe the Lord's going to open the altar for all of these things we're saying, whether it's you or somebody that needs to be free, for God to be doing that as part of confession too, and what God will do in this.